Welcome viewers to round 5 of the EKS, which is taking place here today at Rowrah up in Cumbria. This is the EKS's first ever visit to Rowrah, and this is one of the most historic and iconic circuits in England, having been built way back when in 1963. An incredible 50 drivers are taking part in this event today, and you join us in this video for the final heavyweight race of the day, that is heavyweight race 3. Andy Laister has put an incredible display so far today. He finished 4th in race 1 and then led from lights to flag in race 2. He comes into this race at the top of the overall standings and only needs to finish in the top 4 to guarantee himself the overall victory. Anthony Deverell, meanwhile, is the leading super heavyweight driver. He's currently 2nd in the overall standings and is Andy's closest challenger for the overall victory. And then Ryan Cooper and Ian Wilson are just behind in 3rd and 4th, only a point behind Anthony. Ross Samuel is currently in 5th place in the overall standings. He won race 1 but unfortunately had an issue in race 2 which caused him to finish at the back of the race, and that is the reason why he's now down in 5th in the overall standings. Colin Marshall has had a similar experience as well today. He finished 2nd in race 1 but again finished towards the back of race 2 due to issues, and he's down in 8th, hoping for an upturn in results for this final race. It's James Clare though who's starting on pole position for this final race of the day. He set the fastest lap in the previous race, and it is Colin Marshall who's up on the front row of the grid starting in P2 alongside James. Ian Wilson has had a good day so far. He's starting up in P3 alongside our current overall leader Andy Laister, and then Hayden Harris is starting up in P5 alongside the leading super heavyweight driver Anthony Deverell. Bilal Khan is then starting up on row 4. He's in P7 alongside Alex Haig, and then it's Ryan Cooper making his debut today. He's starting in P9 alongside Alex Cowley, and then it's Dan Cooper, the brother of Ryan Cooper. He's starting in P11 alongside Adam Thompson. James Miller has travelled all the way down from Dundee for this event today. He's starting in P13 alongside Josh Pritchard. And then Simon Fulton, unfortunately, he's had some poor luck today. He's starting down in 15th position for this race alongside Mark Elsdon. And then it is Ross Samuel who is starting all the way down in P17, having won race 1. His car issues though in the previous race meant he didn't have a particularly fast lap time, and as a result he's starting down in P17 alongside Zhao Fingyang on the final row of the grid.
So the grid just forming at the back of the picture, as you can see there, here ahead of heavyweight race 3 in the EKS at Rowrah. What a race this is set to be. Plenty of people in position for the round to win. It's lights out and away we go. Not held on the grid for very long. James Clare leads ahead of Colin Marshall into the first corner. Ian Wilson slots into 3rd position. Andy Laister into 4th. Colin will try and have a look, I'm sure, here at our race leader James Clare as they go into the first hairpin. We'll wait and see as Ian Wilson looks to the outside line of Colin Marshall, though filter through the first hairpin, and it stays as it is for the time being. James Clare, as he sees Ian Wilson alongside Colin Marshall into the second hairpin. Marshall will go to the outside. Andy Laister gets tagged around as it's Bilal Khan who goes round into the second hairpin. He's had a dreadful start to this race.
Yeah, really unlucky there for Bilal. He's running up in P7 but locked up there and going into Airdals. Unfortunately he's gone round, but I'm also looking towards the back of the field because remember Ross Samuel, he won race 1, finished at the back though of the previous race due to car issues, starting at the back again. He's already made up 2 positions in this race. He's just got past 2 cuts at the back of Simon Fulton and Josh Pritchard, and he's already up to P14, so he's trying to come through the field here in this final race of the day.
That will be an interesting battle in terms of the overall points here at Rowrah as we head across the line for the first time. James Clare leads from Colin Marshall and Ian Wilson, but here goes Hayden Harris around the outside line of Colin Marshall, and I don't think, or Ian Wilson I should say, is able to get through into 3rd position. Hayden Harris into 3rd, Colin Marshall stays in 2nd as it looks like there's been a bit of a tangle at the back of the field, as you can see from the drone. Adam Thompson involved in that, so he's fallen down the order, but it's James Clare who still leads, watching on board with Zhao Fingyang as he sees 2 carts side by side just in front of him into the second hairpin. He's made up a couple of positions from this battle as James Clare now sees Colin Marshall go through to the lead of the race. Hayden Harris following him through into turn 5, and into the lead goes Colin Marshall, so James Clare finds himself desperately unlucky.
Yeah, James got a bit of a poor exit there, unfortunately, coming out of Airedales, and he, well, quite frankly, got swamped on the way down to the Stuart S's. He had Colin Marshall come past him on the left, and he had Hayden Harris come past him on the right side. Lucky there for James Clare. He had been leading the race. He's now dropped down to P3 as we come to the end of lap number 2. James Clare trying to get the run on Hayden Harris. They head up to the first chicane. It's very difficult to go side by side through here, and James smartly backs out there. Didn't have enough of an overlap as the drivers come up towards McRae's. There is a yellow flag. That's for Adam Thompson. Had a bit of an issue on the previous lap, and unfortunately Ian Wilson got tangled up in it too. So as a result, those two have dropped down to the back of the field. But we can see in front Colin Marshall. He's fending off Hayden Harris in the battle for the lead. You can see a little bit further back as well from the drone shot. Alex Haig, he's being overtaken there by a driver. I believe that's Dan Cooper. And in front of them is Ross Salmer. How's he done this? Ross Salmer, he started in 17th position on the grid, but Ross, he's all the way up into P8 after 2 laps of this race. I think he may have made up another 2 places as well. He's already on this lap, he has indeed. And now he goes side by side with Anthony Teverill. You just saw the top of shot there. He's made up another position. So by my maths, he's made up 3 positions in this lap, and he's now up to P5. This is remarkable stuff here from Ross Samuel as we're riding on board with James Clare again. He's trying to get that through on Hayden Harris here. He's got the cutback on him coming out of Paddock Bay, going across the start-finish side, trying to get through on Hayden going into the first chicane of the previous lap. Is he going to make it through here? Oh, he nearly did there, backed out of it. Got a better run though out of the chicane, has he? No, he is not. And unfortunately, James Clare not able to get through, so he stays in P3.
4/10 of a second between our leaders at the start, as Andy Laister is in a bit of a battle with Ross Sandwell as they go into the second hairpin. You can just barely see it at the bottom of your drone shot. Looks like Ross has been able to squeeze his way through, so Andy Laister loses a position. This is huge for the battle for the overall win right now. I think Andy will just about take it, but he's got to try and get back past Ross Sandwell to make it a sure done thing. Colin Marshall, Hayden Harris battling for the lead of the race. We're right on board with James Clare to get the best view of this as they plunge down the hill with 8 minutes to go in this race. Hayden Harris looking to the outside line, now into paddock. He's going to have to try and find the opportunity. He's a little bit too far back on this occasion, so Colin Marshall still leads the way. Hayden in second, but for how long has he made a mistake at the final corner? Colin Marshall makes a mistake. Hayden Harris goes through into the lead of the race, and this has brought James Clare right back into the battle.
Yeah, Colin Marshall's got it run, then going through Paddock Bains. Those curves are brutal through that corner. If you touch one on the inside or on the outside, they massively slow you down, and unfortunately that allows him to lose out to the lead to Hayden Harris. But as I'm saying that, he's trying to get back past Hayden Harris here. Let's head into the second hairpin, not able to make that work. Alex Cowley, meanwhile, is having a battle with James Miller. Just saw James Miller going through shot. These two a little bit further down the order in the battle for 50th position. They've got a battle going on in front of them as well with Xiaofeng Yang, Josh Pritchard, and also got Simon Fulton and Bill Alcard all in that pack of carts. So there's a big battle going on there. Just seeing from the drone as well as we're cutting from different camera angles here. We've got Anthony Deverell, he's in a battle with Ryan Cooper, and I believe that is Ian Wilson who's a lap down in that battle as well further up the field. So as we come to the end then of lap number 5, Hayden Harris in the lead of this race. Colin Marshall though, he's just run wide, and James Clare has got through, but he's let him back past, so there may have been contact there. I didn't see it from James's onboard. We can see it now on the replay, and that allowed James Clare to get through Paddock Bains, but Colin Marshall, he's been given back second position, and Colin Marshall remains in P2.
6 minutes to go in the race, then we've just approached half distance. This battle for the lead is hotting up. The battle further down the order is hotting up as well, as you can see there. I think that's Ian Wilson. I can just barely make out, charging back through the field. He just made a move into the first hairpin. Now looks to gain yet another position here into the second hairpin. Can't quite do so, but that puts Ian Wilson well up the order now, considering well, all things considered. Let's run on board with Xiaofeng Yang as he has a little bit of a look as well, as he goes to the inside line and gains yet another position. Does he was up into 14th on this lap, but Xiaofeng Yang doesn't quite have the legs.
Yeah, it's Josh Pritchard there. Xiaofeng Yang is battling with Ian Wilson a little bit further back in the pack, having had an incident, unfortunately, with Adam Thompson. But now look at this. Ross Samuel, what are you doing? You started 17th. He is up to P3. He is with the leaders. How on earth has he managed this? We're only halfway through the race, and Ross Samuel has gone from the back row of the grid to up to P3, and he is only a second off the lead. This is insane stuff here from Ross Samuel, the winner of race number 1. He is flying through the field. No one before in EKS history has won from as low down on the grid as 7th position. This is incredible stuff from Ross Samuel on what is his first ever visit to Rowrah. Incredible stuff here, but Xiaofeng Yang, as we're saying that further down the order, he's in the battle here with Josh Pritchard for P14. Xiaofeng Yang has done a fantastic move there around the outside, going into Airedale. So great move by him, and Xiaofeng is now up into 14th.
Alex Cowley looking down the inside line as he gains a position as well. So Alex Cowley up a spot, 4 minutes to go in this race, and we'll be keeping a keen eye on Ross Samuel, because if he can catch up to our leaders, there's every possibility he can win this race now in 3rd position. Speaking of catching up to our leaders, Ross Samuel has caught up to the back of Colin Marshall. There's only 3 tenths between them, and looks the outside line into the first hairpin, almost goes wide. He clips the grass. He's very, very lucky to keep the carts facing in the right direction, and that actually gives Colin Marshall a little bit of breathing room as he continues to chase after Hayden Harris. This is huge for Ross Samuel, as Alex Cowley now battles with Xiaofeng Yang, can't quite find a way through into the first hairpin. He just got a little bit over optimistic, and it's going to be Xiaofeng Yang who stays in at 13th position for my liking at the moment, as Hayden Harris continues on in the lead of the race. They're almost catching up to Adam Thompson, who you can see on the drone shot. He's about 3/4 of a lap down, and he's going to absolutely bring himself into this battle for the victory. If, of course, Adam Thompson doesn't get out of the way as quickly as maybe these guys would like, that's going to bunch up this pack, as Ross Samuel already is all over the back of Colin Marshall.
Yeah, Ross Samuel's caught back up to Colin. It was this time last lap that he clipped the grass going into McRae's and nearly went round, but he did a great job of regaining control, not losing too much time. You can see now he's on the back bumper of Colin Marshall. Colin Marshall is on the back bumper of Hayden Harris. We've got 3.5 minutes left of this race, and we've got a 3-way battle for the lead going on here. James Clare, unfortunately, dropped back a little bit, hasn't quite got the legs on the leaders, but Ross Samuel, he's looking up the inside here of Colin Marshall as they head down into the Stuart S's, and he is through. Great move that is by Ross Samuel. Got the run coming out of Airedale's, got him down the back straight, and Ross Samuel is through, and he's up into P2.
He was literally shaking after that previous race. He was so frustrated with how it had panned out for him, and now he's right back at the pointy end of the field. Is Ross Samuel chasing after Hayden Harris, and on his current pace, you'd expect him to find a way through. He's not got very long though, 3 minutes still to go. It's a 58-second lap roughly here at Rowrah, so that makes it about 3/4 laps to go, depending on the pace of our leaders. So we'll be keeping an eye on that very, very keenly. Riding on board with Colin Marshall, you can see Ross was almost pushing Hayden into that first hairpin and into the second hairpin. Is there going to be a way for him to make a move? He's going to try it. Down the inside line goes Ross Samuel, and in to the lead of the race from 17th position on the grid. Ross Samuel now leads.
That is incredible stuff by Ross Samuel. 17th to 1st, easy does it. What a move that was by Ross Samuel. Caught Hayden by surprise. Don't think Hayden even knew who was behind. And Ross Samuel at the inside, and he is in to the lead of this race. Just saw as well Adam Thompson very kindly getting out of the way there. He's got issues with his car, unfortunately, so that is why he just jumped out the way of the leaders there. That's why he's going around at the back of the field, unfortunately. But as we come into the penultimate lap of the race, Ross Samuel leads the race. He's got Hayden Harris though still right behind him. They're heading now into the first chicane. The gap is only 0.28 seconds. There's barely anything in it. And also, what we've got to remember in this race is Andy Laister, who's on course to win this event outright. He's never finished in the top 10 before overall in an EKS round, having raced in 10 previous rounds. This is incredible stuff for Andy Laister. He is keeping up the great form today, up in P6 at the moment. As long as he finishes in the top 4, then he's guaranteed to win, and he's probably guaranteed to win where he is at the moment. As long as the people behind him in the overall standings don't get right up to the front, then he will win this outright. So this is incredible stuff as well from Andy Laister.
Andy Laister's only victory in the EKS came at PFI in 2024 as Hayden Harris is hassling Ross Samuel as they go down the hill on the penultimate lap of this race. We're going to see the last lap board this time by, so Hayden Harris has his work cut out to try and get past Ross Samuel. But as I said, what an achievement this will be for Andy Laister if he is able to hold on here at Rowrah. Through into turn 1 they go then for the final time in this race. 2 tenths of a second between Ross Samuel and Hayden Harris, and I think Hayden got a little bit crossed up there into the first corner. Maybe that's going to cause him to struggle a little bit. Colin Marshall's got a great view of it in 3rd place. He's in the box seat as they go into the first hairpin for the final time. Still just a little bit between the two of them. It's such a quick lap here that there's time running out for Hayden Harris. Into turn 5 they go. Is there one final opportunity for Hayden Harris to try and squeeze his way through? Not just yet. He's going to have to do it down the hill, rely on his exit, and his exit has been slightly better than that of Ross Sandwell. They'll go down the hill then for the final time. Fastest section of the circuit. Flick it right, then flick it left, and into Paddock Bend will be the final chance for Hayden Harris to make a move, but through into the final corner. Looks like Ross Sandwell has done just enough. As long as he can keep it collected, he wins from 17th on the grid in a fantastic drive here in the EKS. Hayden Harris, a good drive into second position. Colin Marshall finishes third. James Clare from pole into fourth. Ryan Cooper into fifth. We'll wait to see his name flash purple, which will crown Andy Laister as your heavyweight winner here in the EKS at Rowrah. What a performance from Andy Laister, and what a race here at Rowrah.
What a drive that was then by Ross Sandwell as he came through from 17th on the grid to win the race by 0.3 seconds ahead of Hayden Harris. Colin Marshall did a good job as well to finish up in P3. He'll be pleased with that result after having poor luck in race 2. And then James Clare held on to finish in P4. Ryan Cooper did a great job to finish in P5. He was third in the overall standings coming into this race, so we'll see in a second that he's still very high up the order. And it's Andy Laister who finished in P6 to clinch himself the overall victory. Bilal Khan did well to finish up in P7 ahead of James Miller, and it's Alex Haig who came home in P9 ahead of Mark Elston. Dan Cooper meanwhile finished in P11 ahead of Alex Cowley, and it's Ian Wilson who managed to recover back to P13 after getting tangled up in that instant with Adam Thompson early on in the race. Simon Fulton then came home in 14th position, and it's Anthony Deverill who unfortunately finished down in 15th position. He was second in the overall standings coming into this last race of the day, so he will be a little bit annoyed finishing down in 15th place. And it's Xiaofeng Yang who came home in P16 ahead of Josh Pritchard, whilst Adam Thompson recovered from that incident. He ended up finishing a lap down though. As you can see, there was a lot of penalties given out in that race, all for either track limits or curb abuse. Anthony Deverill got 2 5-second penalties, and Xiaofeng Yang also got 2 5-second penalties, with Dan Cooper also getting a 5-second penalty, which would explain why those drivers finished quite far down the order. We can now hear from our top 2 down in the pit lane. I am here with Hayden Harris and the mighty Ross Sandwell. Hayden, first of all, how was that for you?
Yeah, it was better than the first 2 races.
Yeah.
Karts were a bit better, but can't complain. Yeah, it was a good race. I mean, me and Colin, my teammate, 2 and 3, and then team as a whole, 1, 2, 3 for KRT.
Yeah.
So not bad at all.
You're not in KRT. You're in
sorry.
Can't Rival This.
Rival This, yeah,
Two entirely independent teams.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, well done. But Ross Sandwell,
Hello.
I get bored of saying it. Can you stop winning, please? Especially on last on the grid. How did you do it?
I just picked people off when I needed to get them done. I mean, I saw loads of carnage happening in front of me, so I just put myself in the right place at the right time and let all the chaos unfold, and I'll pick up the pieces. But the top 3 were gone, so I just had to set quick lap times just to get right back up with them. But credit to they got me sweating.
Yeah, you did absolutely brilliant. I couldn't believe it when you were at the front. You started last. What are you doing up there?
Thank you.
So brilliant. Well done, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
This is how that race affected the overall standings, and as we can see, Andy Laister ended up coming home with the overall victory, 4 points ahead of Ross Sandwell, of Ryan Cooper making up the final step on the podium. It's Colin Marshall who came home in 4th overall ahead of Ian Wilson. Those two will be happy to recover to those positions, and James Clare got a best ever EKS result of P6 overall ahead of Hayden Harris. Anthony Deverill ended up coming home as the top super heavyweight driver, but was tied on points with Alex Haig, and it went down to a tiebreaker with their fastest laps being separated by 0.5 of a second. Bilal Khan did well on his debut to finish in P10 ahead of James Miller, with Josh Pritchard coming home in 12th overall ahead of Alex Cowley, and he's got Dan Cooper ahead of Xiaofeng Yang. Simon Fulton, unfortunately, was a bit unlucky. He finished down in P16 ahead of Mark Elston, and it's Adam Thompson who rounds out the field, finishing in P18 overall.